Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the New Jersey Motorsports Park here in Millville, New Jersey. My name's Tony Laporta, and we are getting ready to kick things off for 20 minutes of fast, furious, and hopefully not frightening qualifying here at the 12-turn, 2.25-mile-long road course tucked away in the quaint little town of Millville, New Jersey. If you're watching live online, welcome. Hello. Buena Vista, and hola to coverage of qualifying for the 9th and 10th rounds of the 2020 Global Mazda MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. The green flag waves, and the clock begins to count down from 20 minutes, all the time we will have here to set the grid for the 9th and 10th rounds of the 2020 season. We are getting ready to go. Couple cars leaving the grid, making their way out down pit lane, and then a good line of cars still sitting. All three of the white racing cars, Matt Dirks, Robert Stout, Luke Oxner, still stationary in pit lane. The Slipstream Performance cars of Robert Noaker and Alex Bashora sit in their pit stalls, and then the pair of cars from Carter Racing Enterprises, Michael Carter and Jared Thomas. Matt Dirks is the first to leave. Robert Stout then gets out behind him. Alex Bashura jumps ahead of Robert Stout. Luke Oxner tucks in line behind the 13 of Noaker, and then it's Carter and Thomas bringing up the rear of the field. Every other car we did not name is already out on track circulating, making their first lap around, an out lap, before they come across the start-finish line to begin their first flying lap. So as we get ready to go here, drivers will make their way around this 2.25-mile-long 12-turn road course in Millville, New Jersey. And a couple of corrections if you were listening earlier. I think we're going to have a segment in every MX5 Cup race called Corrections to Tony. And one of the big ones is I stated earlier that this was the first time MX5 Cup had ventured to the New Jersey Motorsports Park. That's incorrect. Right after the track opened, the track was built and opened in 2008. In 2009 and 2010, MX5 Cup came here and ran a pair of races each one of those years. Todd Lamb, who is still a regular in the series, although he is not here this weekend, Todd Lamb scored the two first race wins ever here at the New Jersey Motorsports Park when he swept the 2009 weekend. And then we came back 1 year later, and Justin Piscatell, who is on track currently competing for Maverick, Piscatell won here in June of 2010, while Michael Cooper scored the second race victory later that weekend. So Piscatell, Cooper, and Todd Lamb are all previous winners here in Global Mazda MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. Matt Dirks comes down across the front straightaway, his flying lap underway. There is an alternate timing line just in between turns 10 and 11A. 11A and B, the right-left complex. It's a short section of S's that shoot you into the right-handed turn number 12, the final corner on the track. Luke Oxner lines up right behind white racing teammate Robert Stout. They look fast here as they begin their first flying lap here. Folks, if you're watching live online, we have live timing up at globalmx5cup.com. If you're here at the track, we still have live timing up at globalmx5cup.com. Be sure to follow Global MX5 Cup on Twitter for live in-session and in-race updates as qualifying is green, and we're going to start to see flying laps getting laid down here as drivers are going to hit that alternate timing line on the final couple corners of the track. Piscatell goes purple on lap number 1. We talked about how he was a race winner here back in 2010. Well, it's been 10 years, and he feels like he wants to go back to the top of the podium here at NJMP because he lays down the quickest lap. Now, it's early in qualifying, and he's got plenty of work to do to stay up there, but Piscatell brings Brian Hickson and Kevin Conway with him. John Giesbrecht in the number 68 for Miglior. Conway and Giesbrecht get up there in 3rd and 4th. Robillard 5th, Dan Williams 6th, Now we're going to start seeing that second group of cars that we saw leave pit lane about 30 seconds after the first pack. They will begin to lay down their first flying laps. Piscatell on top. Now it's Stout. Robert Stout goes to the top. Minute 33.419. What about his teammate? Where is Luke Ochsner? He's all the way to P6. Carter goes purple. Carter, minute 32.641. As Carter comes across the front straightaway, his teammate at Carter Racing Enterprises, Jared Thomas, about a good 7-8 car lengths back. Thomas P2 after the first lap. Noaker up to third. Stout slips to fourth. Piscatell P5. He's making his way around the racetrack now. He will head for that alternate timing line over in turn number 10. It's something that the Road to 24 and Global Mazda MX5 Cup officiating staffs use, that alternate timing line over there right before pit lane, the entrance to pit lane. They put that timing line there so drivers can lay down a flying lap, get across the timing line, and still get into pit lane very quickly without wasting an entire lap of cooldown. Here come the Migliore Motorsports cars of both John Giesbrecht and Kevin Conway as they lay down their second fast laps of the session. Giesbrecht, Noaker, Conway, everybody improves. Minute 33.3 for Conway, minute 33.1 for Giesbrecht. We're waiting to see the second laps from Carter Thomas. Let's see, Matt Dirks goes quicker on his second lap, minute 32.803. What about Michael Carter? Because Celine Roland has gone to the top. Does Carter have anything for Celine Roland? There goes Dirks across the front straightaway start-finish line. Let's see if Michael Carter has anything here. Waiting to see him hit the turn 10 line. There it is. Boom. Carter, minute 32.179, and he brings his teammate Jared Thomas with him. And boy, Carter is lifting the rear wheels of Luke Ochsner up off the pavement as they go across the start-finish line. They get on the brakes into turn number 1. Man, Ochsner probably could smell Michael Carter's cologne. Carter was so close to him going down into turn number 1. Carter was able to move to the inside and get around Ochsner, so Carter obviously has quite a bit of speed and used it to get around Luke Ochsner. Ochsner's no slouch, though. He's P5 after 2 laps. Matt Dirks, his white racing teammate, is 4th. Celine Roland is 3rd. Jared Thomas and Michael Carter find themselves in the front row provisionally if qualifying were to end right now. The Migliore Motorsports cars go by. Brian Hickson for Maverick, Celine Roland, Jackson Robillard, and the rest of the pack make their way across the start-finish line to work another lap here. There goes Gresham Wagner. We have not talked about Wagner very much, and there's a reason why. He's down at the bottom of the time charts here after 3 laps, a minute 35.489. Somebody pull the lead out of the number 5 car because Wagner needs to pick up the pace. Of course, I don't suspect he'll stay down there for very, very long. Both Wagner and Celine Roland driving out of the Spark Performance stable this season. And boy, have both of those cars been very, very fast. So keep an eye on Gresham Wagner. I think just like in practice too, he's searching for clean track. He's looking for a place where he can kind of get out and do his own thing. Field makes their way across the timing line, and Jared Thomas goes to the top. Thomas was P1 in the first practice this morning. He returns to the top, minute 31.977 for the Mazda Scholarship Shootout winning driver at the end of 2019. He is purple, meaning your quickest driver on track, and he's the only one in the minute 31-second bracket right now. That's Jared Thomas, the young man out of Indiana. Michael Carter, his teammate, and championship point leaders in second. Piscatell, a winner here 10 years ago. I can't even remember what I was doing 10 years ago. He won here. He's 3rd quick so far. Matt Dirks is 4th. A little bit of a change. Nope, still Matt Dirks in 4th. Gresham Wagner now jumps to the top. Well, top 3 at least. He goes 3rd quick, thanks to a lap of a minute 32.360. So that puts a Spark Performance car up inside the top 5 once again. However, it bumps a Spark Performance car out of the top 5. Celine Roland goes from 5th down to 6th as his teammate Gresham Wagner lays down a good-looking lap, minute 32.360. Piscatell down to 4th. Dirks rounds out your top 5. Roland 6th. Stout 7th. Ochsner 8th. Dan Williams in 8th. Robillard in 10th. Dan Williams had a little bit of trouble in practice number 2, went off on the exit of turn 2. I believe it was, and got off in the gravel trap, but was able to keep the car rolling and continued making sure the session did not go red. We've had a pair of practice sessions already here today at New Jersey Motorsports Park, and no issues to speak of. A little bit of dust getting kicked up. Michael Carter took a bite out of the curbs, a little bit bigger than usually you would suggest over in the 3A, B, and C chicane, but no worse for the wear, and we were able to stay green through all 90 minutes of practice amongst two 45-minute sessions. Thomas still on top here. Minute 31.977. You wonder if Carter, Noaker, Stout, Wagner have anything for him, and I'm definitely impressed by Justin Piscatell. Maverick, that team has just been getting better and better every single weekend, and here they're getting better and better every single session. Really cool to see. Here come the Migliore Motorsports cars, Giesbrecht and Conway. There goes Celine Roll-On. How about Brian Hickson getting out of the way for Jackson Robillard? And then you've got Dan Williams, and I want to say, I think that was Justin Piscatell who also made his way around. 10 minutes to go here in the session, so halfway home. 10 down, 10 to play. And remember, fast lap here in this qualifying session sets the starting grid for the first race tomorrow morning, and your second fastest lap in this session sets the starting grid for race number 2. It's not just get in, lay down a flyer, and get out. You have to lay down 2, 3. You have to bank at least 3 laps here to make sure you've got something worth stacking up against the rest of the competition here. Jared Thomas, he's got plenty of laps to bank against the competition. Minute 31.977 after 5 laps here. There goes Thomas and Carter. No improvement there, at least for Jared Thomas. He stays on top with a minute 31.977. Carter is second, minute 32 flat. Wagner improves himself handedly. In fact, he picks up 0.2 of a second. Gresham Wagner goes from a minute 32.3 down to a minute 32.1. It's a good improvement, but it's not enough to move him out from the inside of row number 2. But if you think about how qualifying is going to play out, we've already talked to a lot of the drivers, and whether they're Road to Indy or MX5 Cup, they've all said the same thing. Passing is going to be difficult here at the New Jersey Motorsports Park. So if you're Gresham Wagner right now and you're staring down the barrel of potentially an inside row 2 starting spot, well, that row 2 shouldn't be what bothers you. It should be the inside that's a positive. That's what Gresham and anybody who's on the inside line should really be looking forward to, because you come down this long front straightaway here at NJMP, and then it's a fast, flat right-hander. Then you rise up a hill, a gradual hill, and it's a second right-hander into turn number 2. So the inside line here, when you come to the green flag, that's going to be the right-hand side of the grid. If you can get down on the inside off the start, which is going to be made much easier by starting there, man, that right-hand line is going to really be the place to be in these MX5 Cup cars, because they get wound up, their revs come up, they're grabbing the gears, and nobody really breaks away from anybody in an MX5 Cup race. It's not until that first big braking zone, and yeah, they'll use the brakes getting down into turn number 1 here, but it's not going to be like when they come back the next time and they've got a full head of steam. So I think an inside row starting spot here is really going to play into the hands of the half of the field that does get to start to the driver's right-hand side. Jared Thomas, he would be to the driver's right-hand side. He'd be the first driver to the right-hand side because he's currently sitting on the provisional pole position. His teammate Michael Carter sits in P2. Wagner, who we were just talking about, on the inside of row number 2. Robert Noaker, fourth quick. Robert Stout rounds out your fast 5 as they run here. 7 minutes left to play after 13 minutes of qualifying so far. Piscatell is 6th. Roll-On 7th. Dirks 8th. Oxner 9th. And Dan Williams in 10th. Looks like Brian Hickson coming across the start-finish line, as is Justin Piscatell. They're both slowing down, trying to let traffic go by them. Looks like a couple cars ducking into pit lane here. I see Jackson Robillard at the very north end of pit lane. So we got 3 cars total sitting on pit lane here. I know one of them is Jackson Robillard. And I'm just going to take a stab in the dark here because they're so far upstream from us here. I think it's John Giesbrecht and the other Migliore car of Kevin Conway. I'm looking on track here to confirm that they have not gone by. Here come the Carter Racing Enterprise entries. Both Jared Thomas and Michael Carter peel off the track in turn 12. They'll head for pit lane. Thomas hits his box first. Carter kind of looking lost, but he gets into the box. Flashers on. He doesn't want anybody to hit him. He says, watch out. They're working on my car. Not a lot of frantic activity on either the 08 or the 96. The Carter Racing Enterprise entries both pull over. They're going to get left side pressures and temperatures, it looks like, checked here. With not a lot of time left in this session, I wonder if they're just calling it quits. I think very well this might be the Migliore, the Carter Racing Enterprise, and Robillard saying, hey, we're done. We're going to pull out and save our stuff. Because remember, the tires that are on these cars right now, folks, are the tires they have to start race number 1 on tomorrow. Pointed blue flag shown to the 38 of Dan Williams as he pulls down and gets out of the way for faster traffic behind him. But I think the cars you see, and now more duck into pit lane, both Spark Performance cars. Gresham Wagner brings in Celine Roland, as well as one of the Maverick cars. Is that Piscatel? I think that's Piscatel hitting pit lane for Maverick. So we now have both Spark Performance cars, one of the Maverick cars, both Carter Racing Enterprise cars, the Migliore cars, and the McCumbee-McAleer Racing entry of Jackson Robillard. So nearly half the field ducking into pit lane here, and with under 5 minutes to go, I don't know. All right, there goes Piscatel. He just came in to get a breather. He grabs some electrolytes, and he's going to head back out on track. Here comes Luke Ochsner in the number 77. Ochsner, the native of Arkansas, who resides now in the wonderful, wonderful region of northern Colorado. Ochsner brings his number 77 down to a stop in the attention of the White Racing crew. They go and grab pressures on all 4 BF Goodrich Racing tires. I don't know. I don't know. We saw Piscatel come in and leave once again. He's the only car that has pitted since we saw about 6 minutes to go and gone back out. I think Wagner's done. I think Roland is done. I don't know. We'll see. Ochsner is in. The Carter Racing Enterprises are done. Oh, they back Roland up, and he's going to drive out. Now, does he go back on track, or is he taking it to the garage? He's taking it to the garage. So Roland throws the towel in, says he is done. Roland is going to pull the chutes on the session after a best lap of 1:32, 4:83. So the 2018 Rookie of the Year, Celine Roland, provisionally sitting in the 7th spot after qualifying concludes. We still have about 3 minutes to go in this one. Wagner sitting in the box. I don't see them heading back out either. Roland's going to take the number 87 back to the barn. They're going to make the last-minute changes to that one if they have any. There goes the 33 of Bashura, the 3 of Stout, the 13 of Noacre. Here comes Matt Dirks in the 76 down to pit lane. I think you're seeing cars start to call the session and make their way in. Tires are just such a big part of the strategy here, and you have to get as much life out of your set of BFGs as you can. And so drivers don't want to go and just run and run and run and run and run in qualifying. That was 7 runs. You don't want to do that many. Looking at our leaderboard here, how many laps? Thomas did 7. Carter did 7. Wagner did 8. Noacre did 9. Yeah, everybody's done 7 laps or more with the exception of the Migliore Motorsports cars. Migliore, Kevin Conway, and John Giesbrecht are the minimum lap so far at 6 laps apiece. So you can tell they really went into this session knowing, hey, we have got to save our tires. If we want to move up the field here, and that's their best bet, right? If you're the Migliore cars, you know, hey, let's save our tires. Let's really just bide our time at the start of round number 9 tomorrow morning, and then when everybody else starts to fall off, when those guys, we've got one car out there I know with 10 laps. Brian Hickson and Dan Williams each put 10 laps in during this session, and that's a lot. I mean, I think that's really a lot of laps, honestly, for qualifying when you need a minimum of 2 to one, your fast lap to set the grid for race 1, your second fast lap sets the grid for race 2. You might lay down 1 or 2 extra laps just to keep in the bank to be safe. But 10 laps around a 2.5 or nearly 2.5 mile long racetrack, that's That's a lot of tire wear. Robert Stout is going to come in and park behind his two white racing teammates. Here comes Alex Bashura, which I think means we should only see, I think Robert Nowaker might be the only car still out on track. I saw him just fly by a moment ago. Less than a minute to play here in this one, and nearly the entire field is either on pit lane or in the garage area. Celine Roland, he already went back to the garage. He's probably changed already. I think he's got dinner plans. I don't know. He didn't invite me, but he never does. Less than 20 seconds now on the clock. And I think if you're not in the pits now, you will be very, very soon. Robert Nowaker, the only car, I believe, that is still out on track circulating. Kind of taking his life into his own hands when you talk about tire life, I think. When you know that tires are going to be a factor in this one, with the track being as abrasive as it apparently is from what we're hearing from drivers. Yeah, Stout laid down 10 laps. Nowaker has laid down 10 laps, and we're waiting to see the number 13, the Pennsylvania native who lives just 2.5 hours from this very racetrack. Should be seeing Nowaker peel off and hit pit lane. But, wow, 10 laps, that is a considerable amount. Yeah, Nowaker, once he crossed the timing line, registered 11 laps total here in this session. And the crew is out. The clock has struck 0, which means the session is complete. And there is the number 13 of Robert Nowaker, your nearly season-long championship point leader, who has now fallen to second by only 2 points to Savannah, Georgia's Michael Carter. So cars are getting waved out of their pit stalls and back to the garage area. So just like that, a quick 20-minute qualifying session in the books. Jared Thomas is going to lead him to the green flag for his first pole position of 2020 here at New Jersey Motorsports Park. He was quick in practice. Keep your eye on him. The driver out of the great state of Indiana will lead him to the green flag. Michael Carter, his teammate, will start second as Carter Racing Enterprises locks out the front row for round number 9 at New Jersey Motorsports Park. Gresham Wagner salvages what started out a very poor qualifying effort to end up in P3. I think that inside row 2 starting spot's going to be a good spot for him. Robert Nowaker comes into the weekend 2 markers back from Michael Carter. He starts 2 spots behind Michael Carter here as he lines up in 4th. Robert Stout rounds out your Fast 5. Then it's Justin Piscatel, the winner here from 2010. Celine Roland is 7th. Matt Dirks, the white racing driver, is 8th with his teammate Luke Auctioner in 9th. Dan Williams rounds out the top 10. Then it's Jackson Robillard, Brian Hickson, John Giesbrecht, Alex Bashura, and the 2010 NASCAR Cup Series Rookie of the Year, Kevin Conway. Rounding out the field of 15 here in MX5 Cup qualifying. The grids have been set for both rounds 9 and 10. We go racing early tomorrow morning. If you're watching live online, join us at 9:40 a.m. The race goes green at 9:45. We will try to be on just a few minutes before that. 9:45 to 10:30 a.m. Race number 1, the 9th round of the 2020 Global Mazda MX5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich. And then cars will be back on track at 1 p.m. for their second race of the weekend and their 10th round of the season. Folks, thanks for watching MX5 Cup. We will see you tomorrow.